Hey, how's it going? How's it going, everyone? It is Hey Highway, hey Lord Bowser. It is, well, let me get the camera a little closer. Let's go ahead and, zoom that in a bit. Hey, y'all. It's, Tuesday, and this here is, Tuesday night making. Did this last week, and, well, a lot has changed since last week, so I really felt like I wanted to do another one, even though we're still doing a Friday stream this week. There will be a Friday stream this week. This is a bonus stream. Do not expect this every week, but I wanted to do some making because two things. One, since last week, where I did a bunch of brainstorming for this level here, Abyssal Asteroid, I have uploaded it. I have finished it. I got it to where it's really good, and I want to show it to you. So that'll be the first order of business. The second order of business, I need to start work on Nebula, which is sort of the 35th level in this super world. The last level of World 7. If this in a DKC game, this would be like the first K Rool fight. And then this over here would be like the bonus world, would be like the lost world. You can see that it's called Bonus Biome. I thought that was a funny name for the last world of the game. You can think of the last world as like a lost world, as like a crematoa, as like a bonus world. That's the way I'm thinking about it anyway. So, this level, Nebula, it's quite important. It's quite a finale. Basically, the idea will be that, if you look in the World Maker, if it's loaded, I'm not sure if it's loaded. Yeah, it's loaded. Perfect. The idea will be that, somewhere in like a foggy nebula, a battle cruiser fortress of Bowser is hiding out, so you'll have to go into the nebula and find him and defeat him. It'll be sort of like one half level. The first half will be a proper Mario level, and then the second half will be a big boss fight against Bowser. That's basically going to be the structure. I'm thinking there'll be a mid-boss fight checkpoint, which means that I have to make it a big enough fight where that makes sense. I got my work cut out for me. Let me first... But we'll start into that tonight. There's one other order of business tonight, which is, of course, viewer levels. I'm going to do a round of them after the making. If you didn't come here last week, if you weren't privy to what... If you don't know how it worked last week, during last week's Tuesday night making stream, how it worked is we did some making for around, say, an hour or two, and then at the end, I went into the viewer levels, and the queue closed after the first one. So basically, everyone's here can get one viewer level in at the end of the stream, and we'll do it lightning style with lightning style rules. You know, five tries refreshing at checkpoints, 7 for subs, and for the first person who is present. And because I'll also say like the first person in the queue doesn't necessarily have to be here because, when they submitted the queue, they were first. It's fair to say that I am putting off their level by 2 hours or an hour or so. So, I'm gonna give them a little bonus, and they don't have to be here. But if they are here, they get bonus heads. That's how we're gonna work this. At least that's how we did last week. This format is very new. Very much just trying things out and seeing what works, seeing if it's fun. Let's get into talking about the last level, the one that is now up, which, by the way, please check out, the maker code's down there. Check out the level. It's the most recent level that's uploaded. I did a revision of it. I did like a version 1 that went up on Sunday. Whatever. I did a version 1 that went up on Sunday, and then watched some streamers play it, for reference, for feedback, and then deleted it and made some revisions before the stream last night, before last night's stream. So this is now version 2 that's up. I hope people will enjoy it, and I'm sure, over time, a lot of plays and a lot of likes will come in slowly and steadily on it. And I suppose I could accelerate that by, you know, posting it more to Reddit, posting it more to other streamers, etc. I'm kind of busy, though, I'll tell you. Since I've been streaming, I haven't been actually, like, submitting my levels to other people as much, you know? Just more playing them. Just more, like, focusing on viewer levels rather than, like, level sharing or other people's viewer level streams, you know, such as you know, having things to do, having priorities, having, what are you gonna do? Anyway, let's first look at what we had last week. So last week, let me review. No, we're not gonna review from the jump. I'll just show you what we had last week, which is basically just prototypes, right? I had worked out some ideas last week, and this was on the stream last week. This was the only area that was completed last week. This first area, this first screen of the level, where you get the 10 coin and move on. Oh, actually, there was a bunch here that I built between saving off the thing and not. Well, I guess, you know what, if you want to see what last week was, I guess at this point. Well, let me see if I can. Yeah, so. Okay, so I had tried out this. I built out this section last week. I built this little section here, and there were some areas in like the sub-zero, in like the low gravity areas that were built out as well. That I have unfortunately started dismantling at the time of saving this BS version, so it's not all there. There used to be some Mecha Koopas over here in the version that we had last week. You can review that bod for that, but let me show you what it has become. Let me show you what has come of Abyssal Asteroid, which is Koopaverse 4, the 7-4 of my super worlds, by the way. Show you the card. Let me show you, not the card, I don't have any cards today. Didn't prepare any. But let me show you the thing. The thing that says what my super world is. It's Waluigi's Triple Threats, Mario Country, 34 levels down, 6 to go. It'll be complete sometime this year. That's right, 34 out of 40 levels. It's coming along. And also, yeah, it'll be Waluigi themed. You can see, by the way, that I am just about, I've hit the enemy limit, and I'll be honest, like, I'm pretty close on the ground limit as well. Like, let me see. Just for shits and giggles, let me try to max out real fast. If I add like a couple more. Okay, maybe not that close to the end to the ground limit, but I was having to be somewhat careful with like ground as well. Well, maybe not that careful, jeez. Okay, I guess I did have a good amount of ground left in the budget. Whatever. I think you make like you might make 55 levels for your next Super World, Lord Bowser. That's ambitious. I guess maybe also I take a while per level, and your levels are generally like a minute. They're like shorter length, like a new Luigi level. Let me show you the level. I'm gonna play through it, and then we'll talk, and then we'll get into the next one. So Abyssal Asteroid. The main idea here, the main breakthrough, actually came before, when I was still laboring under the idea that it would be a hybrid water level, you know, insofar as the world sound. Yes, it is a space world. I was laboring under the assumption. I'm gonna start over because that didn't look good. That guy took a hit carelessly. I was laboring under the assumption that it would be a hybrid water level, and that it would have a rising and falling water level in both the subworld and the overworld. And it ended up being a different sort of water level, in which the underwater part is one half and a low gravity part is the other half. And the main breakthrough was that I figured out that, secret here, by the way. I figured out that, the Hammer Brothers, move really slowly when underwater and also in low gravity. So as a result, the level is built around Hammer Brothers, which look really dangerous when you look at them, but honestly, they're not that scary, which I think is pretty nifty, pretty cool. I also built sections like this where the Hammer Brothers are protected a little bit by, like, this guy here. Because of this reef thing, it's harder to hit the guys from above. You sort of have to, like, go over here before you can really counteract them if you want to, like, play it slow and safe and, like, take out the guys before you continue. Or you can just, like, you know, or you can just, like, you know, play it fast and loose, you know, just barrel through them. Dodge the hammers, which is also fun. And very easy, as you can see. Here in the second half, the main thing that's introduced is the Mecha Koopa. The Mecha Koopas were a big thing that I found out were really cool in this level last week. And I will say I ended up saving them for the second half because, you know, like I've said, I always feel like the second half of the level needs like a big shot of energy, you know? It needs something new and exciting. And the Mecha Koopas ending up being it. During the last stream, I was looking for that last, like, oh, what's gonna be the twist? And it was only after the stream ended that I realized, like, oh, I already have the twist, it's Mecha Koopas. I'm just gonna save those until later. Here I do some funny business with the... Jeez, it's hard to explain, like, element by element because it all goes by so fast, even though this is a long level. I found it very interesting how the level... I really liked how this level routes you around in fun ways, going through previous areas, hitting a switch and then swimming through, and just, like, you know, swimming you through, like, different ways. Again, I use this pipe here to protect some of those Hammer Brothers and make it a little harder to fireball them if you have a fireball. Here's the final sequence. You can see it's very similar to the original one that we hashed out last week, except I added this 10 coin in this higher area, and also added those Hammer Brothers. Yeah, it's a nice full level, yes, exactly. I think it came out remarkably well. I'm really satisfied with it, and, you know, this level, it satisfies my, my need to have a water level and also a low gravity level in the super world. Both are being covered by this level. And I guess, in retrospect, it was kind of silly to think that I could go through the space level, the space world, without a low gravity level being one of them. I mean, it's space. It's a space world. Of course, there has to be a low gravity level as one of the levels. What was I thinking? Originally, the plan was to do the Link level as half low gravity in the next world, Sunburned Sanctuary, which would be ridiculous. The idea originally of Sunburned Sanctuary was like, there's someone behind you looking through the window, says Mario's father, who cheered 5 bits. Wow, that's... I expected that to be a follower for a second, but that's not what the alert is for followers. Thank you very much, Marios. There's no windows behind me, only a door. The window is in front of me, and it's covered by a whatchamacallit, a blackout curtain. So you can't see through it. Let me, like, walk through a couple of things that I realized. A couple of small, minor details. First off, these guys I had to use this this one-way thing to make it so that they fold reliably, always the same way. Otherwise, they could randomly end up one of them falling over here instead of over here. I also changed this area based on what I saw in playtest. I saw people struggling to realize that they couldn't just, you know, after passing through this, they couldn't just return to the right. They had to go down and out. So I ended up changing these two one-ways to sort of, you know, plant the idea in the players' heads that they had to go this way. You know, I figured it would make, it would help them figure it out. Also lowered this guy to make him a little less threatening. I found that players were a little bit scared of that guy. Removed a couple of these guys here. Just talking about things I did between version 1 and version 2. Originally in the first version of this level, which I guess this is silly because y'all never saw that version, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. In the first version of this level, if you, like, dilly-dallied here, right? These guys would end up in a really inconvenient position, so you couldn't really go under them. There used to be, like, this guy used to go up instead of down, making it hard to get past these guys if they were, they had gone back, which I didn't realize because the first time because every time I played this level, I just swam right past these guys and got under them like it was nothing. Anyway, really happy with this level. Really love all the ways that these, you know, one-way blocks sort of route you. And the illusion of it. I like how it all looks. You know, and I feel like every question mark block, every switch, every time you toggle a switch, something interesting is happening. And, you know, whether it's routing you through areas you've been before or doing other weird things with the routing, I think it's really nice and fun. And, yeah, I also really just like the detail here of, like, swimming under the pipe. You know, the pipe that you went in earlier in the level. I think that's rad. And, yeah, it just turned out really fucking well. And I hope y'all will try it out for yourselves and give it a go. One more detail I'll say on this level is that, for the subworld. Ended up, making it into a vertical level, but, I didn't want to use a scroll lock because I wanted to make some sections go left to right. You know, go across the entire way. So instead, I built the level using these, this large column in the middle, which blocks off the view of the other side, so you can't see that the blocks just end immediately after your sight ends. You know, as far as you're concerned, those blocks could go on forever. You know, you're just on the edge of a massive asteroid, skirting around the sides and shit. I thought that illusion was very nice, and feel really happy with it. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say about Abyssal Asteroid. Turned out really fucking nice. Really fucking happy with it. Like I said, one more detail I'll say of the design process. Wanted to make this jump dangerous, so I put this wall here to prevent you from just, like, easily fireballing these guys. This pipe is also here to protect that hammer brother and make him dangerous, which I thought was a nice touch. Really happy with this level. I think it measures up to the standard of the rest of the super world, and goddamn, I could not be more pleased. Next up, next thing tonight, it's time to start work on Nebula. Nebula is the penultimate, is the last level of the penultimate world. You're gonna use the NSMBU lore as your own lore. Cool. You're gonna put your own spin on it. Oh, sorry, I missed your stuff, Lord Bowser, about your the lore for your game, about how in your super world Mario is supposedly the bad guy, in the kayfabe of it. Gotcha. Yes, that's right. This is the 7th castle. Sort of. It is the way I'm sort of thinking about this is that in a proper Donkey Kong Country, at least in Donkey Kong Country 2 or 3, there is a first K. Rool fight, or Baron K. Roolenstein fight, and then a second K. Roolenstein fight. This is the first one. This is the big finale that leads into the bonus world. I don't have that much built for it yet, so I just have the basic theming and some of the ideas. So it'll take place in Nighttime Ship, Super Mario World. Also, if you remember a previous level that I did, To and Fro Factory, there were a bunch of Koopalings on rails that are sort of embedded into the floor, and I'm gonna use that again. And as you can see, when you jump on them, they just die immediately. So these are just one-hit kill Koopalings. Gonna use a bunch of Koopalings in this level. That's, one element of it that I know right now. And hopefully we'll find some other ideas that work well here. The other thing I know, at least the plan, is to build the first part around a Bowser fight wherein you're trying to get over Bowser repeatedly. Constantly like going over Bowser and hitting an on-off and dropping a level and rinse repeat until the end of the level. Basically going left and right, going around Bowser, maybe doing something like this where you're climbing over some vines or something. And then after that, there'll be a mid-boss checkpoint, maybe after a couple of times over. There'll be a mid-boss checkpoint, after which you'll be able to actually start doing damage on Bowser by running left and right, getting a single Koopa shell each time you go left, each time you go right, and then using that to like hit into Bowser, and hopefully it'll be like 3 or 4 hits, or maybe 5, I don't know. I'm not entirely certain yet. My touchstone for this is the Baron K. Roolenstein fight from Donkey Kong Country 3, the first one, where you're running left and right, you're doing a thing on one side, and then you go past him, and then you do the thing on the other side, and each time you do damage, and eventually you take him down. That's basically going to be the idea of this here fight. Also, as it's on a technical note, the way this checkpoint works is that oh, I guess I did figure out already like how I'm gonna do this, because yeah, I got some bombs here that are set up such that it'll when you spawn, Bowser will take a bunch of damage from the bombs, and he'll be like pre-gamed a little bit, so he'll take the right number of hits for this boss fight, I think. Like I said, this is like a really important level, so I've done some prototyping already, some ideation, some ideas like what might work. Like, oh, maybe we'll use tires for one of the times you have to get past him. Maybe you'll have to bounce up above him using tires, or maybe you'll climb on him, climb over him using these vines. Maybe there'll be like cannonballs that trying to fucking demonstrate this, but the setup right now is not ideal for it. Okay, here we go. We'll do it like this. Dang it, was off screen that time. Maybe there'll be something like this where, where like you can use cannonballs to go over him, or something. I don't know if that one's actually feasible, if that one's actually technically possible, because you'd have to get the cannonballs out of the way for the final phase. The other thing I should probably consider as a possibility is I could have it so that the first phase and the second phase aren't the same Bowser. So you get through the first phase, you dodge him a couple of times, you go through a door, and you come out somewhere else. And then, you know, there's a new Bowser that spawns that's not technically the same Bowser. In which case, we wouldn't have to have multiple bomb setups to damage Bowser to the right levels. We could instead just, you know, have one Bowser that you're actually going to kill. But I think I really like the illusion. I really like the illusion of it being the same Bowser that spawns. And I really like this checkpoint system that I have devised. Now, there is some question I have is like whether it is, you know... Whether it is like, technically viable, right? Now, it could be that this checkpoint system... Oh, I need to switch this to be the other way. It could be this checkpoint system is just something I need to just give up on, right? Something I need to admit is like, okay, this is not necessary, you know? I don't actually need to come up with an elaborate way of preventing Bowser from spawning. I can just use 2 different rooms for this. And as you can see, by the way, that Bowser is blocked from spawning by the thing. Oh, that's kind of weird. If you go up too high, those bombs end up spawning, and so does this. Ooh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, I'll have to work around that, I'm sure. There's a lot of technical details with this level, and with the boss fight, that I need to consider, but for now, let's focus on the outside portions. As you can see here on the outside, I only have a couple of things here. I have some basic theming for, like, the castle part. You know, the part where you'll go inside into the castle. I'm thinking there will be some castle ramparts, some, like, walls floating in the void. Something like this. Which means that we probably should refrain on guys who destroy their environments. Also worth asking, how many of these can I have? How many of these guys can I have? I know I could have... In the last time I used them, I had a bunch of them. So I can at least have, like, 8 or something. Maybe, like, okay, we're at 5. Can I have... Okay, I think the limit is 8. No. 7? Yes, the limit is 7. So... Well, this is kind of obvious, isn't it? 7... 7, the limit on Koopalings is 7. We can have 7 Koopalings. And there's 7 of them. Yeah, we're gonna have 1 of each. We're gonna have 1 of each in this first part of the level, which again is only half the level, so really, like, fitting these guys in, you know, I'm not gonna really have to worry about the limit because 7 of 1 enemy in 1 half of the level seems like a lot anyway, honestly. Okay, let's just make them real fast and maybe we'll play around for them for a second. You're gonna share your the lore for your new super world in the Discord right now? That's cool, man. Okay, I'm just gonna plop down a bunch of these guys just for like, you know, they're an important part of this level. The Koopalings and like giving you the opportunity to like fight each and every one of them. You know, obviously these will not be long fights. They're basically going to be glorified minions at this point. And also, by the way, I could have a couple of... How many of these could I have? I can have 5 Boom Booms. As you know. So yeah, could even, like, use some Boom Booms as, like, basic enemies. You know, have some Boom Booms, like, going along tracks like this. If I have a Boom Boom like that, is that high enough Can it... No, I think it's standing on it. Yeah, it has to be a big boom boom. So yeah, you could have some areas where there's just like a bunch of boom booms as foot soldiers here. That could be a cool moment where like, yeah, multiple boom booms are running at you. You don't see that every day. Let's go ahead and just like plop some of that down. I suppose I also have to think about the ending. You know, during all the time I've spent thinking about this level, I've never thought about how it ends. Other than you kill Bowser, you go through a door, you go through a pipe, and there's the ending. I suppose I should probably put, like, maybe save a boom boom or two for the ending. So you can at least, like, you know, run by them or something. Okay, let's, put... They could even be doubled up like this, like, two of them, one on each platform, each of them giving you some hell. That there. That there. Okay. Oh, right, I can't copy him. Not while there's multiple others in the vicinity. Gotta remember to put some solid there or else they will not die. That's important. What other enemies? You know what? I haven't checked. I have on my Google Docs a document that has ideas I've jotted down, you know, since the beginning for each level. I suppose I should, well, first off, I should clear Abyssal Asteroid. Which, let me read out the notes for Abyssal Asteroid, by the way, for those who are wondering. The first one was made, in December of 2021. A pure water level. January 2022. Could this be an auto-scroller as well? Better idea. Make the subworld a vertical auto-scroller. Second half, you have to go up at a very fast speed. What if it's a bit like the previous trigger-based water level, except that the subworld is vertical? Slightly different illusion this time. That's referring to my level, that's referring to the level, of Farron Floodway, which was, before my superworld. Used a funny little illusion to make it so that when you pass through the subworld to the overworld and back, the water would start rising, and then when you pass back, it would start falling. And it looked like one contiguous area, even though it wasn't. Sort of to make a water level in the style of, like, Lockjaw's Locker was the idea there. Didn't end up doing one of those for the Superworld, but I think that's fine. Farron Floodway is really good, and I'm happy with it being a one-off idea rather than one I reuse, you know, relentlessly. Leaning towards Shoe and Shelmet for the above idea. Jeez, I wanted to have Shoe and Shelmet in Abyssal Asteroid originally. It was originally called Aquatic Asteroid, which is a little less, I think it's a little less cool, you know? See if the forest aesthetic can be as hidden as much as possible. That's one of the reasons I switched to it being pure water level rather than a hybrid. Rather than a, you know, water level, because I couldn't really hide the forest that well. And also, I had done a Super Mario Bros. 1 forest in, previously. I did it in, earlier in the Super World. Can we put some layers of odd minerals? Perhaps a worldwide theming? No, I didn't do that. Try Super Mario Bros. 2 to see if it works well for swimming. I don't remember if I did that, but I don't think it would work well for swimming. No. Could have multiple levels of step down, a door on either side of a tree. Once you fall through it, the water level appears to quote-unquote fall. Oh, I guess that's an idea that has to do with the water level illusion thing. It's not important. We ended up not doing that. Red coin hunt in a room with falling water, maybe swinging claws. That idea kind of ended up into Meteor Meltdown. And right now, by the way, that idea was jotted down in like October of last year. So getting pretty close to present here, and still I had no idea what the level was. What if it's a regular water level? What if there's invisible blocks you bust through as Big Mario? What if it's an auto-scroller and bullet bills are crisscrossing every which way? Again, not the idea that I ended up with. Fish bones for sure, maybe cannonballs. Well, both of those ended up in the level. Maybe an old-style water level. Not sure what the overworld will be, but dry ground. Have boat sequences. You cannot leave your boat at the end of sections. Cannot take it into the underwater portions. Second way, deeper than water than first, but still some above water stuff. For water, use Hammer Brothers and Fishbones. This was just like a couple weeks ago. So this note, I already knew what it was. Old style hybrid water level. Subworld is low gravity. Fair amount of funky routing, where you hit it on-off on the way to the objective. And that was, what it ended up being. Let me close that comment. That comment is done. What the fuck? Oh, here we go. The check mark. Comment resolved. Let me see what I've jotted down for Near-Do Nebula. Also, let me bold that level because it's all done now. Bolded. Perfect. Okay, let me view this comment. Okay, I have a couple of things here. And I think this is mostly still the idea, actually. This is a full level in the style of a Mario boss level. There was a traditional first/second act, then a boss fight with Bowser. I think I ended up leaning more towards a traditional one segment and then two for the Bowser, but whatever. Use Koopalings embedded in the ground, like in 3-5 again, but this time as common foes in the platforming act of this level. Yes. Giant Bowser 2-phase fight with a checkpoint between phases. First phase, you run left-right to hit on-off blocks and drop down to the next arena. Second phase, you need to go under Bowser to get to Koopas, which appear on alternate sides of the stage each time. The whole boss fight should be somewhat inspired by Baron K Roolenstein boss. And also, in order to prevent cheese, power-up needs to be Shelmet, or maybe Yoshi. If you lose Yoshi, he'll be stuck on the opposite side. I think we're going with the Shelmet, but the Yoshi idea would work with the right setup, I think. After you beat the boss, there should be a surprise, scripted lava escape sequence where the lava nips at your heels as you get out. Oh! I forgot about that idea entirely. That was... Let me see, when did I come up with the lava idea? That was April of 2022. The rest of these notes are from December of 2021. Geez, so that was like over a year ago. Well, this is a very important level. I came up with the idea at the start of my super world, I guess. So basically, what that idea suggests is, what we do is we have this whole bottom portion of the level separated out from the rest, right? And we use like a rising lava level here, such that you know, how do I make this faster? Such that after you get Bowser, you go through the door and have to like get out real quickly while the lava rises around you. And since the lava doesn't touch the part of the arena with Bowser in it, you wouldn't necessarily know this earlier on. The delay on the lava makes it a little hard to see that it's happening. Unless it were something like, you know, it was like bounded at the top or something. You know, with like a layer of rocks. Then you'd be able to see the lava. Then you'd be able to see the lava coming for you. Because the You know, because it would, honestly, it could be just something simple like, oh, jump up a few things, and the lava appears to be coming for you. It doesn't even have to be really a threat. It could be something like, comes up that high, or like that high. Like you drop into here, and you're just like, oh shit! And you run through the pipe real fast, but it's actually not a threat so long as you get up to, like, the second jump. That said, I would be worried if someone actually beat the boss, and then, you know... And then, you know... Not sure if correct, but that's a good idea. We should make note of that, and make sure we're considering that when designing this level. Lava Rise Finale. Noted. Okay, let's do a little more prototyping. I say a little more. Let's do more prototyping here in the overworld. I mean, I haven't actually tested out these guys yet. Let's just go ahead and put these here as a group of 3. Tell you what, actually. Put this guy here. If this guy is here, will he always be... Yeah, I think he'll always be, like, embedded. Even if he's here, maybe. How far out can these guys be without... Without, like, becoming, like, such that you can accidentally end up with them alive? Kinda looks like this is... Hang on, you know what? I got a way to test this. That's better. There. He will be at the farthest to the left face for longer than a frame. Okay. Looks like even if he's like hanging off the edge like that, he is mortal. Could have some of them like hanging off walls. That'd be an option. Like this guy maybe is like clinging on a wall. Honestly, they don't have to be that far from it. They can be just like basically embedded in it like that. And then we could have some like falling platforms or something. Falling platforms or like thwomps. What if you had to, like, ride a thwomp? You had to, like, get through a layer of thwomps or something. Here. To get up, you know, to get up on him. Really? That's not bad. These segments could also be tutorials for the areas that you face later. That you face later on in the Bowser fights, right? Like one idea I have is using the vines in the Bowser fight, right? To climb up over Bowser, right? You could easily have a Koopaverse that you have to face by you know, climbing across a vine wall. Or Koopaverse where you have to do like an on-off business, like in the last level. So let's say there's an on-off over here. This guy just does balls, right? You know what? You go over here. Be with this guy over here. Meanwhile, bring this guy over to, like, here. And let's go ahead and put some blocks over him. So you have to hit an on-off block and return. Let's say you have to climb on some vines to do it. And there can be a guy over here as well. Now, this is just going to be the first half of the level, but I think for a first half, it's going to be longer than usual because this is sort of a penultimate climax, and also there's no second half platforming part of this level, so, you know, basically the whole subworld can be entirely... I can put it entirely to use in service of this, this design. I kind of like just first impressions here. Okay, let's try from the start. One thing you have to notice here is that they take a little bit of time to fire their thing. So like if it's just like this and you can just run up on them, you can get them off before even they get a shot off. So I think we ought to have some sort of thing that gets in the way of actually just taking them out. Something like this, where you have to do something clever to get to them and dodge an attack or two in order to get at them. See, like, that one's not enough. This one's enough. Let's prototype a little bit more. Lava lifts. Maybe a lava lift would be cool. That'd be a way to do it. Let me grab... Tell you what. Go ahead and just put this way over here for now. Put her way over here. I think the way that we want to think about this part of the level is maybe small sequences where you fight each of these guys in turn. And it's not even that really structured, you know? It's just like, okay, yeah, there's... But maybe something like, oh, you know, you have to... ride some things here. How would you do this one? They could even be separate rooms. You know, if I wanted to, like, scroll lock it and, you know, for sake of example here, say that there was a scroll lock right here. That would ensure that, that would ensure that while you're doing this ride, he's always on screen. Oh, maybe you could have to, like, go around, like, go under him like that before coming up on him. You know, maybe there could be, like, there could be, like, one-way walls or something blocking you from just getting over like that. Something as such. Something like so. These blocks do end up staying a little longer than I'd like. That would also be a good use of a doors thing, or just like, you know, going through doors or something. It would also require in some cases that you beat the boss if you need the boss key. I'd say the boss. You beat the guy, you beat the Koopaling if they have a key and you need to use it. That said, there's 7 Koopalings, and you can only have 3. You can only have 4 doors in the subworld, so you know it's not like I can require every Koopaling be killed. Okay, what else can we do? Let's try up a couple more things. Bonsai bills. I like bonsai bills. Slap a few of them down. Haven't used twisters in a while. Maybe could have some twisters. Kind of makes sense if this is like a nebula, you know, a big storm. Could have some twister guys lifting, I don't know, cannons into the air. What if there were cannons being lifted into the air by these guys? Would that be cool? Let's try that out. See how that feels. And I'll make I'll make one of them a big one. A fast one. Over here. Add a bullet bill going up. Let's try that on for size, see how it feels. Here's my bullet bills. My bonsai bills. Oh, it just... It killed them. Oh my god, it killed. Can this thing even lift those guys? Well, that was a... Okay. These things cannot lift a cannonball. In fact, they're killed by them. I didn't know you could kill these things. I didn't know you could kill, you know, cannonball launchers. Wow. Or, sorry, not cannonball launchers. Twisters. Twisters? Yeah, twisters. Didn't know you could kill them. What about, same thing with a bullet bill, right? Yeah, bullet bill launchers also cannot be lifted. I could make it look like they're being lifted. Using some, you know, trickery. It would be an illusion, but... possible. You can put... Can you put a cannon on a track? Let's see. Yes. So what that would require is some setup similar to the setup in World 1, where the cannons are going up, basically matching the speed at which the twisters extend. I think that roughly does it. Okay, shit. They just kill it. Whoops. Well, it's not much of an illusion if it just dies immediately. So let's put it up like this. Change that to this. I think in the first world, the way that ended up being timed... Yeah, so if we don't go up at first, these things aren't going to be, like... The illusion isn't that good. Kinda looks like they're being lifted. You know, once they reach, like, maximum height. Well, that's an idea. I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's an idea. What else we got? Let's see. Spikes are a good enemy for this sort of level. Don't want big spikes. What could easily see like a area where just like spike balls are falling at you? Wait, It's low gravity. Will they be slow or something? Once they land, they're going to be normal speed, so let's start them off on the ground and they won't... If they... If you have them like that, how do they work? Like, are they going to slow down as they fall off the ledges? That's not bad. Could do some spikes. That feels kind of climactic. What else we got? Grinders. Saws, you know? Tilty platforms. Bumpers. Treadmills. Conveyor belts. Oh, that's probably a good one. And I have some conveyor belt platforms. The way I would choose to like signify which way they go would be that the red ones would go this way and the yellow ones would go this way. That could be a thing. I guess the thing we need to think about also is how much of this can be like can come back in the final part where you just fight a Bowser. You know, like, can conveyors be involved in the Bowser fight? I'm not 100% sure about that. But they do make sense for a Milton fight, or whoever this fucking guy is. Try it out. Again, we have to deal with the fact that, you know, by the time he is spawning, you're pretty close to him, right? Like, he spawns about here, and you're just like, you know, assuming, let's assume that actually this goes, like, they all go backwards or something, right? By the time you're getting to him, you're through, like, most of the conveyor parts. And you can even, if you just jump good, get through them without him activating. Oh, that was interesting. I've always said that one thing you can do is play the level in reverse and see how it feels. That guy just coming at me as I was trying to get onto that platform felt interesting to me. Also interesting was that, where I had to, like, where the cannonballs were going the same direction as I was, and I had to... Cannonballs, the things, the... spinies, spikes. Smart design. Just high enough to not be reachable with a running jump. That guy, the ball guy probably needs to be such that... Whoa! Double. Ball guy needs to be set up precisely so that you can actually hit him correctly. A lot to think of there. Yeah, I'm still... I don't feel like we have all the pieces yet. But I'm not sure, like, if we're gonna get them all tonight. How about that we call that for the making portion of this stream? We just have it be a very short making portion. Are y'all satisfied with that? With that, experimentation? Like I said, no guarantee, like, on the length of these. I do think that these might end up being somewhat short streams. I kind of like climbing over Bowser here. I'll say this. I kind of like climbing over Bowser here. I think it's, like, the best thing I've come up with so far. But I'm not sure if you could just repeat that, like, several times without it getting boring. So, need to think on this. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then we're gonna start the viewer levels. Okay? Sound good? Be right back. Oops. Hey y'all, I'm back. Oh, I needed that. I had an idea. While I was, you know, occupado or whatever the fuck. I had an idea. I've never done this sort of thing, but I've seen it done before. So I'm not really sure, like, the logistics of it, but one problem that we were having with this is that, you know, I have to figure out a way to, you know, figure out a way to have the mini-boss guy on screen for it. Or on screen so that he's, like, he or she is casting the thing. One thing I could do is use an auto-scroll. And that would even allow me to have, like, scroll lock sections where, you know, you cannot scroll no further until you beat the guy. And, you know, he would be on screen for the entire... until you beat him, and then maybe, like... I've seen cases where, like, killing an enemy causes, causes like an explosion, or not causes like the wall to open up and you'd be allowed to continue. I guess I could do that with like an on-off or something after each one. Like you hit an on-off after killing them, and that whoops, allows you to proceed from there. Just a little thought I had while you know, thinking about stuff. I find that the best thing for level making, the best place to get ideas, the best way to get ideas, I'm not going to say pooping. No, the best way to get ideas is to sit on it and to think about it while you're not, to give it time, you know? The more time you spend thinking about stuff, the more it'll percolate. Ideas will percolate in your head and come together into something good. The other thing I was thinking about is that fish bones work in low gravity, so we could try out those and see what's up. See if they work for this. Maybe like giant fish bones, in fact. Ooh, that's kind of spooky. Kind of scary. Go ahead and throw some of those in there. Go ahead and put them like here. Make it so that you have to like land here-ish. Or that you can land here-ish. Fish bones and also Cheep Cheeps. Those are the two things we could try. We could try out here. Maybe like flying Cheep Cheeps with the wings, so they'll bob like up and down as they go. Okay, let's give this whole thing a go. With the auto scroll, we can't do places where we, you have to go left and then right. Unless it's set up such that, it's a scroll lock and you have to go deal with that before you can proceed. Also means sections like this become a little bit more scary because you have to... Yeah, that's really tight, actually. So yeah, there could be a scroll lock here, and you'd have to, like, go back and forth to deal with it or something. Oh, wow. Can you not jump on these guys in low gravity? Oh, yes, you can. I guess something just got weird about the hitbox there. Try that again. She wasted her shot there. I think with Wendy, possible she might need to be hanging off a ledge like this for her to work right. Get rid of this for now. And try this again. That felt kind of cool. Jumping through the fish bones to take out Wendy quickly. Or sometimes the fish bones activate, sometimes the fish bones activate and sometimes they don't while you're jumping in. That's not a bad idea. These are not bad ideas. We'll have to iterate on it and do more brainstorming. I think this level is in very, very, very early phases. Very, very early stages. I don't think I got all the ideas I need yet. I could also have icicles. Icicles aren't a bad thing. They're kind of fun. Make it so that you have to run under these icicles or something. Too bad the thwomps are so slow because of the low gravity. Makes this sequence kind of not work. Kind of like how that pushes you a bit. Pushes you forward. If I could place these such that this one doesn't activate until... I guess a way to do that would be to, like, route the player such that they have to go very low here. Maybe they don't end up, like, activating that one. That feels really cool. I really like that trick. I really like having that option. That said, it is an auto-scroll, so, you know, it's not like doing that trick actually helps you finish the level faster. You know, it's not like it's a speed strat or nothing. That's... And on reflection, that's kind of unfortunate, isn't it? An unfortunate thing about if we end up going with, like, an auto-scroller approach. If we end up going with an auto-scroller approach, you know, no sort of fancy speed strats are actually gonna help you, you know, get a better time or anything. You know, you'll just end up having to, like, scratch your face and wait it out if you end up going a little bit too fast. You'll just end up being like, okay, well, whatever. Anyway, how about we call it for there as far as prototyping for now. We've laid down some basic ideas. You know, I don't think... I'll be honest, I don't think I got it yet. I think that the conceit of the first half of the level has yet to be found. Using the Koopalings more as... Here's my thought right now. I would like to use the Koopalings more as regular baddies than, like, actual bosses. You know, I would rather this be like, oh, you're facing down the Koopalings, but they're kind of more just regular tougher than average foes rather than, like, anything serious, right? It's not like this is a mini boss fight. This is just running into a mini boss and just dispatching him in no time flat. You know, they should be hard enough such that they get one shot off on average. They can get a shot off before you kill them. But that's just a matter of, like, routing the player such that, you know, they have time on screen enough to get off their shot before you jump on them. Which, I'll be honest, is going to be a tough thing to work out. Well, that's kind of unfortunate as well, whatever, I guess. That ball disappeared before I could jump on it. That's gonna be difficult, I think, but... I think... Haha! Look at that. That's pretty clever. That feels pretty clever right there. I think I can figure it out. I'll just need more time and, you know, start plugging away at it when I can, you know? Oh, Jesus. See that? I haven't actually, like, not done a trick here. That circle ends up hitting right where you can jump. Ends up hitting the one platform there. Let's raise up the platform, how about that? The important thing now is to keep trying things and to, you know, sort of whittle my way is the wrong word, sort of ease towards what will eventually become a good design that we like. I need to find things that feel good and then build upon them until we have, like, actual stuff that can become actual level. As for the boss fight itself, I think we have a good basis and a good basic idea. The mechanisms need a lot of work to actually get, you know, to where they're reliable. And I should definitely consider having a having a two room setup where there's like one room for one Bowser fight where you don't damage him, and another room for another Bowser fight where you do. I'm not sure though, maybe like splitting that up would be... I really like the illusion of it being one boss fight with a checkpoint in the middle. That is fantastic. And I think that if that could work, that would be rad as hell. But I have to get it working before that's an option. Let's I'm gonna save this. I just threw in some some icebreakers into my mouth, by the way, if you're wondering. Ooh, they're nice. Breath mints, I like the minty flavor of them. Altoids, icebreakers, all those. I don't have them very often, though. You know what time it is, folks. It is time to do them viewer levels. Like I said at the top of the stream, doing a single round of them, and the queue will close after we get through the first level, which comes from Bowser. First level is Bowser's level. Lord Bowser might be here, but also I have said before that the first person will get 5 tries no matter what. That's the way we're going to do it during these Tuesday streams. And also Bowser is here. Also, I'm really not sure, like, you know, if I were to keep doing these streams, if these streams became like a regular thing on a regular schedule, which, I'll tell you, I am thinking maybe after I finish Persona 5 Royale, I could see a stream like this being on the schedule on a weekly basis. You're back making the full lore happen. That's nice, Lord Bowser. I could see these things happening on a weekly basis. But right now, they're just more special streams, special occasions. In this case... Oh, let me get the lightning round thing up. In this case, you know, since I am just starting the last level of the penultimate world, I wanted to get that process started. Wanted to show off the new level. Wanted to get that all done before Friday, which would be the next chance, just using the regular schedule, which would be kind of ridiculous if I uploaded a level on, you know, on Sunday and you didn't see it until Friday. You know, that'd be absurd. I'll continue plugging away on that level. I don't know, we'll see. I got other games to play, you know, and Metroid Fusion's coming out. Still haven't finished Mario and Luigi or Minish Cap. I got stuff to play, other than, you know, working on the level.
Oh no!
Oh, and he's here, so he gets a bonus heads. Let me randomize those real fast. As you can see, the heads can be one of many things. In this case, they're Wario's. And we lost one already. Okay. If you don't know how this works, during the lightning round, which is at the end of a usual viewer level streams on like a Friday, on a maker stream, like a Tuesday night making stream, it's just the whole round of viewer levels is this way. But during the lightning round, we have a limited amount of tries to get to the end. 5 for everyone, and 7 for subs, and also the first person of the lightning round, or of the night in this case. This is kind of challenging with the, you know, avoiding these guys. You know, obviously they don't they don't die. So the only thing they can do is hit you, or you know, they can only hit you, and if they hit you, they're gonna respawn. This level is about rotten shrooms chasing you. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. Good breath myth. I don't know if... You know, I don't know if Altoids are just for the breath factor. I always think of Altoids as more being like for the, you know, icebreakers. They're just... No, it's just a mint. It's not a breath mint. It's just a mint. I don't think it's for breath. It's just to make your mouth feel all spicy and good. You know, I don't like spicy flavor, but I like minty. You know? Is that weird? Is there like a... I like minty flavors. I like strong minty flavors. Despite not liking spicy flavors. I guess they're, you know, they're pretty different. I don't know how mint works. Like, why exactly it tastes the way that it does. Why exactly a strong minty flavor feels so cool. I guess it's cool, so it's like the opposite of spice. Huh? I think we're at the end. Yes. Thank you for the level, Lord Bowser. Very nice.
Time.
Just gonna take that, the bonus heads down now. Whoops. Alright. Thank you. Someone messaged me in Discord. What's up? Oh no, it's just... Someone added me. Oh, Bowser added me. I heard the @ in the notification thing. Y'all didn't hear it, but you know, I have the Discord tab open on my computer, and you know, sound comes out here. Anyway, complete. Nice level. Very good for a auto-scroller level. You know, auto-scroller levels, they're hard to make good. I think you mostly got it. You know, it was challenging and not too unpleasant. I didn't feel like I was having to wait at all. Highway, the chatbot says you're not here, but I'm just gonna @ you anyway. Highway, you are up. Now it has been, you know, we did do a bunch of making there, obviously, so I understand if you know, had to step away for a minute. But such is the nature of Tuesday night making, this here stream, this here format. Gonna punch it in, and we're gonna give I think if you're not here, we're gonna do it as a as very nearly but not quite sudden death. Looks like this is a 1-screen obligation. World record is 20 seconds. Might be a short time limit. Let's just go in and pause real fast and think it through before we like start our first try. Okay, we gotta get 4 mushrooms. We have 150 seconds, so time is not a concern. Here's our first one. Go through and try puzzling this out. I can hit on-off here. Why I would want to is unclear. Well, I can go over here. There's... Whoop. Oh, I can hit this on... Get the... Okay, I feel like we got most of the way... Door. Okay, the last one up. What the fuck? I jumped onto a thing. That was a dumb way to die. But... lightning, you know, sudden death is sudden death. I'm sure next time I see this, highway, I'll be able to, actually beat it. Jeez. Jeez. Alright, I'm gonna close the queue as a matter of course. I'm gonna hit next to confirm that there's none left. Oops. Go ahead and get that up. Queue is closed. There we go. And yeah, get that. Make that go away too. Folks, that's gonna do it for tonight. A very short stream as far as like my streams go. You know, only an hour and a half, a couple of viewer levels, and a bunch of making. The level I do think is not exactly. I don't think I've got it yet. I don't think I got everything I need. Even with this part that I've been thinking about for a while, I think I need more creative ways to have you get over and across Bowser, rather than just like vines each time. Nova Quark, Super Nova Quark, is what Lord Bowser is recommending. That sounds like a good idea. He's doing viewer levels. You know, that's a good idea. I could also, while we go over there, submit my latest level to him, which, as you can see, is, like I said at the top, it's uploaded. And you can see here, there's the code for it. Not many people have played the new version of it, but I'm sure over time, people will check it out and drop those likes. Yeah, let's go over to that fella. Let's see, who else is streaming? Some other folks I'm following are streaming, but I'm gonna take your recommendation, Lord Bowser. Let's do that. Supernova Quark. How do you spell that? Supernova Quark. Quark. Okay. Supernova Quark doing viewer levels. I don't know this fella, but I bet he will be cool. I'm gonna pull up the stream on my end, and I'm going to do the raid. Yeah, let's do that. Supernova Quark. Where's the mouse? Rating folks doing viewer levels probably makes a lot of sense, you know. Supernova Quark. Alright, the raid. He also does levels. That's very nice. Alright, folks. Thanks for coming by, watching me do some making, and hanging out. And giving me 2 levels for this occasion. Maybe I should change these where it's not necessarily 1 level per person, but, you know, like a longer round. 2 levels kind of feels a little anticlimactic. A little bit. Anyway, I'll be back on Thursday around 8 p.m. for Persona 5 Royale The Long Haul. Just last time we finished Shido's ship, that palace. We'll be doing the stealing his heart and the cutscenes thereafter on Thursday. Should be a good stream. We might see some stuff that's new to Royale, maybe? Question mark. I'm kind of excited to see that stuff cropping up in the next dungeon or so. You know, since I've never played Royale before, all that stuff will be brand new to me, and I'm pretty fucking excited for that. Whether that happens like next week or like after one more dungeon, I'm really not sure, but I'm looking forward to that. And if you're looking for more viewer levels, or viewer levels at all, that'll be on Friday around 6 p.m. as per normal. I'll see ya on Thursday, or on Friday, or next week on Monday. No. And by the way, this Tuesday making stream, don't expect to see it next weekend, or next week. Bye, folks. See ya on Thursday or Friday. The raid's already gone, but, you know, people watching the VOD. Bye!